Hello and welcome to Introduction to C Sharp. Just want to cover a couple quick things to help you out with this class. First one is when you're on the Windows virtual machine, what's the easiest way to access Visual Studio? And for that, we're going to use a Windows shortcut. Normally it would be the Windows key. If you're on a Mac, the Command key in a Windows virtual machine functions like your Windows key. So if you press that, you'll see the menu come up. And you'll see the shortcuts over here. We already have Visual Studio. If you assume the program you want is not showing, you can actually just start typing. So I'll type VIS, and you'll see Visual Studio at the top here. I could click it, but I don't even have to click on it. It's highlighted. I can just hit enter, and that will go ahead and open the program for me. Just take a second while that opens up. This opens up to the start page. Full screen that. On the start page here, it gives you several options, including to start a new project, to open an existing project, or if you've had anything open recently, there will be a list of projects here. You can just select one of those. I think it's usually 10 projects, the last 10. You can select one of those and it'll open that project for you. With ASD, we will be working in console. So let's go ahead and start a new project. We'll go File, New, Project. You'll see here Control-Shift-N is the shortcut. I do like learning the shortcuts. It can save you time in the long run. I will highlight a few helpful ones as we go through. In this case, we'll hit New Project. If it's not fully expanded, you want to go into Templates, Visual C Sharp, Windows, and console application is the option we want. When you're creating a new project, you have some options here. By default, your location will be where your Visual Studio program is installed / projects. I have changed mine to help me with organization. Then you can select a project name. We'll call this Intro to C Sharp. And a solution name. The solution is a file that keeps track of projects and files included within your program. In this case, we're only going to, throughout the entire class, we're only going to have one project per solution. You can use a different name for the solution. There's no reason for us to do that, so we'll just leave it to the default, which is the same name as the project name. And we'll click OK for it to go ahead and create that project for us. And the first window you're going to see here is the code editor. It's the main window, takes up the largest amount of space. This is where you write and edit and modify your code. At the top, you'll see a tab. This is the file name for the file that you are working in. If you have multiple files open in Visual Studio, you'll see additional tabs up here that you can use to select the other files and move between them. If you don't have the files open, over here is the Solution Explorer. If you don't see it, it's been unpinned or something. Usually if you look at the tabs along the side, you can see a Solution Explorer. You can click it to show. You can pin it so it stays there. What you'll see here is your solution name, Intro to C Sharp. It says it has one project, which is our project, Intro to C Sharp. Some other items here included for Visual Studio. And then down here you see the file name program.cs. That is our default file that it created for us. And that's the current file we'll be working in. If you have any additional files that you've created, like if you're creating other classes, those will also be listed here. You can use that to open the files. Let's go ahead and add a line of code here. We'll go ahead and do a console. .write line. We'll do a console.write. We'll add hello, the string hello. Now with this, we can go ahead and run it. You can come up here, debug, tell this start with debug, start without debug. I love the shortcuts. You'll see shortcut for debugging is F5, without is Control F5. Let's go ahead and run with debug. And you will see when it runs here, it just ran and went away, disappeared right away. If we run without debug, it will actually wait until we're done. It says press any key to continue. It's nice to have it wait, but it's really better if we run with debug in case there's an error problem in the program. We want a way to be able to fix that and find those. So you should get into the habit of running with debug. In order to help us with that, what you should do is add another console write line here. The shortcut is actually CW. Hit tab twice. That'll add a console write line, and then we can go ahead and modify it. I'm going to add the message, press the key to continue, so the user knows that they need to do something. And in this case, we're going to do a console read key. What that'll do is that asks for input, and it's going to wait until the user hits any key, and then it will continue, in which case the program will end. And because we're doing a write here, let's go ahead and add a /n just to make sure that that message appears on a new line. If I run that now with debug, pressing F5, see our program comes up, says hello, press the key to continue. As soon as I hit any key, program exits. So these two lines here are the key to making sure your program doesn't exit till you're done, while allowing you to run with debug, which is what you should favor. Now, some things you can do here is if you're not sure where your code is at, easiest way to find it is if you do a control click on the Mac, which is a right click if you're actually on a Windows machine, to open containing folder, and I'll take you to the folder that contains that file. This is in your project. You can see it says Intro to C#. If we go up one level, you'll see this is your solution file. If we go back in, you'll see this is your project file. Both of those contain information for Visual Studio about how to handle your project. Here is your actual source code file. And if anybody ever tells you that you need Visual Studio in order to write code, don't believe them. We can actually just control click, say we want to open it with Notepad, and while it's not as nice, we can easily come in here and just modify the code. And when we compile it, it'll include that. Just go ahead and close that. Go into Visual Studio, it'll see that the code was modified. In this case, I did make a typo, which editing in Notepad you don't see, but just add the quotes, and we can just go and run with debug. Works great. So let's see. The last item we want to do is zip up the project for submission. In order to ensure that you get everything in your submission that is required, if you just go to the containing folder for your program.cs file, you can go up a level, see the solution folder, or solution file. If you go up one more level, on the Windows side, it's as easy as doing a control click, going to the option that's send to, compress zip, and now we have a zip file that's ready to submit. Just make sure that you follow the correct naming conventions.